You're listening to Stories Behind the Songs with Chris Blair. For more information, check out chrisblair.com. Welcome back. In this episode, man, I'm so excited. We're going to talk about a journey from Northern California to Nashville, the creative leap into independence, stories behind a new double album, Poppy and Iris Deluxe. We're going to cover viral moments that you've had, songwriting evolution, touring life, and the latest thing that you're into is children's books.
Yeah.
Tyler Rich in the house. How are you, brother?
I'm good, man. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Let's talk about life in Northern California first. How'd you get into music?
Well, there's nothing to do where I grew up. A lot of people, when they think of California, if they haven't spent time in the state, they just picture LA, Disneyland, San Francisco.
Yeah.
Homeless people, drugs. They just think it's chaos in California. Whereas anytime they're like, "Oh, where'd you grow up?" I say Yuba City, and they're like, "Where'd you grow up? What is that?" And I'm like, "All right, like Sacramento." They're like, "Where's that?" I'm like, "All right, so I grew up in San Francisco, but no, I grew up like 3 hours north of San Francisco, just like in the middle of the valley up there." We called it the hub where I grew up because it was literally there's nothing to do where I grew up. It's just a farming town. We hung out at Carl's Jr. It's Hardee's out here,
Yep.
right? But Carl's Jr. parking lot was literally the hangout in high school, or just driving out into the mountains or the farms and just trying to find like ghosts and stuff. And we called it the hub because we were like an hour and a half away from anything you would ever want to do. And there's like skiing and there's the ocean and then there's like big cities and stuff. And so when you're stuck in a tiny little town, it was either sports or start a band. And I'm like a sports nut. I love sports, but I definitely found out I was really good at sports in like a park with my buddies. And then as soon as you put a number on my back and people watching,
isn't that crazy how that works? Yeah,
I was extremely athletically declined.
Yeah.
And so I chose my after school special as being in a band. And it wasn't random though. I grew up in it around my family and stuff. My Uncle Tim, when I was a kid, he was in college. That was the age gap. And he was just like he played at UC Davis, I think. Sorry, Uncle Tim. Pretty sure UC Davis. He played football and played guitar. And anytime there was any family gatherings of any sort on that side of the family, he showed up with all of his college buddies, a bunch of guitars, and they would sit around just for hours playing music. And I just grew up watching what it does to people in a room, and everybody be having a great time, cocktails and barbecuing and all this stuff. And then there's guitars and songs, and the mood is just instantly heightened. And so he started teaching me when I was 13, 14. I got my first guitar, and I had no, interest in being in a band. I didn't really even know what that meant or entailed. I just wanted to literally play with my uncle at these family hangs. And then, he had some buddies that were in big Sacramento, like punk rock bands and that kind of stuff. And they'd throw these huge college house parties, and I would go and all of a sudden kind of sit in and start playing the drums and I wasn't good, but they would just let me play. And
yeah.
Everybody would cheer because I was a kid. And I guess that's what kind of caught that bug at first. And then, I just started bands in high school, honestly, when we started the first band, it was like, all right, cool. Who's going to learn this instrument? Who's going to learn this instrument? And luckily our drummer had actually been playing for a while, and his parents were the ones that let us play in his garage. And at that time we were, 15 and playing like Blink-182 and Rancid and like Green Day and anything that we could turn our amps up to 10.
Yep.
And God bless the neighbors that would let us every Saturday afternoon just make unimaginable amounts of noise.
Yeah. Dude, I remember those days. It's like I had one of those little tiny amps, like the guitar amps with the built-in distortion and everything.
Yeah, little combo amp.
Yeah. It's fun times.
Yeah. And they sound terrible.
Yeah.
And especially when you turn them up really loud. And then when you're 15 and you can't sing and you're just like,
yeah.
And the parents just, yeah, this is awesome, guys. Keep going. And we're like, all right. Yeah. But,
so then when you went to college, you went to LA, right? somewhere around there?
So I went to Sac State.
Okay.
I had gone to originally because I'd been in a band, broke up, and then when I was 18, I joined a band that had just kind of started from Sacramento. A couple of the guys were from Sac, but they were older than me, and they'd started this band. I joined as a guitar player, and then within like a couple months, the singer and I became like dual vocalists, and that band got a pretty big record deal when I was 18, 19 years old. I was a kid still. And so we ended up touring for like 2 years straight, everything from like Warped Tour to, just like that whole era of music. And I got onto, like, the internet was, only around for like 4 or 5 years at this point, I think. And so we ended up, or maybe I guess longer, but we were able to find a bunch of community colleges that were offering online courses for the first time in California. And so I was on tour for those first 2 years where I would have 5 classes, like one at this community college, one at this community college, one at this community college.
Wow.
Because each college at that point was offering like 10 total online courses.
Yeah.
And so I would just scour all the catalogs and like, how do I build what I need this semester?
That's smart. Yeah.
And so I did that online, on the road. My parents, my grandparents, on both sides, always so supportive with music and always like, go out there, do it like 150% because you're not making money like at all, right? Even still sometimes.
Yeah.
And they're like, we'll pay for your bills back home. We'll help you on the road. We'll do this, that. But if it ever doesn't work out, your band breaks up or you decide you want to just not play music anymore, you have to promise us you'll finish school. And so that was what really inspired me also to do those community college classes as I was going. Once I had graduated, I moved down to LA for the first time. Well, graduated community college, moved to LA for the first time. And thinking I was moving to LA, back to the whole California being massive thing. And I moved to Huntington Beach, which sounds awesome. It is awesome. But it is probably a good like hour and 15, 30 minutes from actual LA where the music scene was that I was supposed to be moving down for. And I just was on the beach and had a great time. And wrote a lot of music, recorded some down there, but nothing really happened because I wasn't in the mix. And then so I met a girl on MySpace from, the tiny little mountain town 15 minutes away and chased her back to my hometown. And when I went back, that's when I went to Sac State. And I was like, originally I wanted to do a music program, but then I quickly found out that making my passion homework made me not like my passion anymore. And so after a semester of music business, I was like, nah. So I switched to economics randomly. Yeah. Well, I got an associate's in business admin. And so when I went to talk to my counselor, she was like, hey, so you also got an associate's in econ, like during that process. And you did really well in these 2 intro program or classes. So maybe do econ, it's a cool, it's more of a niche program and you'll be out quicker and blah, blah. And she never told me it was going to be insanely difficult. Econ is crazy. It's like every letter, it's just like the Greek alphabet. And then they're like, cool, here's 20 letters that make no sense. Yeah. Solve the world's problems. And so then I graduated with the econ degree and that's when I moved back to actual LA. Okay. I had gotten a job offer after graduating because even though it was really hard, I took out some student loans so that I was doing like 21 units a semester, like spring sessions, winter sessions, so that I could get out in a year and a half. And because of only working 2 nights a week because of my student loans, I was able to like really go hard on it. And somehow I graduated with honors from the econ program.
Come on, man.
And thank you. It's not a brag, but it's only leading up to the next part. But I did get an honors sash, and because of that, I got a job offer working because the Capitol's in Sacramento. I got a job offer working for the state as like a part of the financial advising team. Okay. And there was a comma in the offer. I'd never seen a comma. I was only working waiting tables and bartending. And there was health insurance. There's all these benefits and all this crazy stuff. And I was like, oh my God, yeah. But then I remembered a promise I made to myself that if I went back to school, kind of like the ones I made to my family back in the day, music didn't work out. I was going to go back to school. That was a promise. I fulfilled it. But I promised myself right when I signed back up that once I graduated, I was going to give music one more shot. And so I turned down the job, moved back to LA, right back to bartending, all that stuff. And then about like a month into that is when I started this project. Very like bare bone structure of where we're at now. But yeah, that's what led us in a long stream of events to here.
Yeah. Man, I love that. You had some mentorship early on. Talk about that.
Yeah, when I moved to LA, I knew I wanted to do music, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to be in a band, a solo artist, or maybe just writing for other people and stuff. And I got connected pretty quick with this management team that manages producers and songwriters. And so it was almost kind of like building a band, like they put together, or somebody did, I don't know. I got hit up and was like, hey, I got this drummer, plays for this band. We got this guitar player, we got this, and I know your old band from way back in the day. Do you want to be the singer of this project? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? And so we started taking meetings with this management company, and they were managing Daryl. What's Daryl's last name?
Brown?
Daryl Brown. Yeah, Daryl Brown. You got the notes. I
do.
love it. I haven't thought about I love Daryl. He's one of my favorite people. I haven't thought about him in a very long time though. Daryl Brown, incredible songwriter. Like Keith Urban, Leanne Rimes, like huge country hits.
Yeah.
And one of the things I didn't know early on was that when I was learning music with my uncle and playing at the house, it was Garth Brooks, it was CCR, John Denver, Tom Petty, Brooks and Dunn. Good music with acoustic guitars. My mom, when I was growing up, only listened to country for the most part. And then my dad only listened to rock. And so that was where my kind of like split of the music I love came from. Yeah. And it was like second grade, I think. My cousin took me to my first concert, which was George Strait. And hell of a first concert. So cool. Yeah. It was George, I believe Reba, and Rhett Akins opened it, which is so cool because Rhett and I have, written a few times, and he actually was co-writer on my first single. Yeah. And so really cool full circle moment to get to hang out with him and tell him that story. And so now flash forward, Daryl Brown's in the room with us and knows I grew up loving country and listened to country and stuff, but that I had only been in rock bands and stuff. He has no idea that I even have this idea in my mind of like, what if I did that? What if I switched gears and did more singer-songwriter stuff? And the other producers in the room were the Monsters and Strangers, who are like massive pop, urban, EDM producers. Like Zed, Maren Morris, The Middle, they did that way later. Yeah. But just huge guys. And so they sat with us, and every week they'd be like, you're going to write 3 songs. You're going to come back. We're going to judge the 3 songs after 3 weeks, basically, like a reality show almost. And so we did that, and they would just rip the songs apart as to like, why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? Oh, I love that. That's great. Why'd you do this? Oh, you can cut this part out if you want. But I think it's pretty great. Daryl said, Tyler, why'd you do that melody or that little lift right here in that hook? And this is right after he had shut one of my things down. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I just came naturally, I guess. I didn't really think about it. He goes, he's like, oh, I love it. And I was like, oh, thanks. Hella scared. And then he's like, why'd you do this in the verse? Why'd you start it that way when you started the other verse that way? I was like, just keep it interesting. And he goes, no, well, I'm flaccid. Make me hard again. And I was like, copy that, Daryl. Yeah. Noted. All right. Makes sense. And so it ended up being like one of the most beneficial like writing boot camps I've ever experienced.
That's amazing.
And it was just priceless, the input and all the stuff we got for those few months. And then eventually one of the guys was like, hey man, I'm going to move back. I'm not really into this. And then the management team, they're like, hey, so we're actually it's just going to be a you thing. I think we're going to keep working with you. And they started putting me in rooms with different producers and writers, and that was where I met Mike Mack and Jordan Baum, that were writers and producers for Universal. And we went into work just to write anything for anybody. Yeah. And then like halfway through the session, they were like, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, I've been writing these songs about moving back here again and leaving all my friends and family again and where I grew up. And it's got this like, kind of, I don't know, acoustic pop country kind of thing. And they're like, country? And they only did like hip hop and stuff. And Rihanna stuff and I was like, yeah, like play us some. And so I did. And then they're like, let us do this EP. Let's do something together. Let's do this. And so that was where we did my first EP called Valerie. And I released the first single. And at the time it was like Spotify was just kind of coming out and stuff. And people weren't really using it yet. Do you remember Reverb Nation?
Yeah.
It's still around.
Yeah.
I made these little like promo cards, basically like business cards, but
Yeah.
I had my picture on it, and on the back it had my Instagram, and that was it. And I would go to the front of lines of like shows anywhere I was at in California. Like if I was back home in Sacramento, if I was in LA, I'd go to arenas, I'd go to small venues, and I'd just go to the lines, and I'd be like, hey, here's I'm a brand new artist. If you follow me on Instagram on the back, I will DM you a link to my free single, because nobody could get free music back then very easily. And I went to like Stagecoach, and I walked around with like 4,000 of them for 3 days and lied to everybody I met. And I was like, hey, I'm playing next year. They actually told me I could come in here and promote my new single, blah, 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 check it out. And that was what like just like skyrocketed my social media.
Brilliant,
just
man.
guerrilla marketing, like the old school way.
Yeah.
And so because of that, and then that single doing well, I released another one. Then that one was called California Grown, and then that one blew up in California specifically. And then I started getting emails from Nashville, and hey man, know you're in LA and entertainment capital of the world, but you can't be doing what you think you can do out there. You got to come to Nashville. And early 2015 in March, I came and visited for the first time. I didn't know a single person here. Fell in love with the city. Moved here like 3 weeks later, and I'm in almost at the end of my 10th year. Yeah. Which is wild to me.
Yeah, man. Yeah, like, we've both been here for a long time and see like, and all the work you did in California before that. And it's like, it's crazy how many people I talk to that are fans that just don't have, like, they can't even fathom all the work that goes into everything that happens before it happens. Right.
Yeah.
And, but I mean, let's talk about some of these highlights just because it's just gone crazy for you lately. You got over 500 million global streams, 3 #1 singles on Sirius XM The Highway, got gold certified hit with The Difference and Leave Her Wild. You've got the viral success with Better Than You're Used To. And I mean, just like the 2022 duet, like, I mean, just in the last few years, I mean, things have just really blown up. So what has that ride been? And like, how do you compare like the contacts and everything that you did in the LA world and then everything here and how they kind of blend together?
Yeah, I mean, I would say coming to Nashville was the smartest decision I ever made.
Yeah.
It is what I felt when I first was here those few days, even like not knowing a soul, and then moving here and only knowing a couple people I had met at bars, like at Losers, right?
Yeah.
Like, the community here is amazing because it's such a friendly competition. Everybody's rooting for each other.
It is, yeah.
Because we do know everybody can find their own lane and do their own thing and be successful. And so everybody's constantly, wanting to write with each other, write for each other, push each other as hard as we can. And that's something that you don't really feel in LA as much. There's a lot of things about LA that I do like. I feel like LA is a little more organic with the songwriting and the production mentality. Like in LA, I would, hit, my guys up or these writers or this and be like, hey, it's 8 o'clock. Not even, hey, I know it's 8 o'clock. Hey, it's 8 p.m. or whatever. And I started working on this thing and sent a voice note. What do you guys think? Like, oh man, I love that. You want to come to the studio in like 2 hours? And you go there at 10 and you work and you write until like 3 or 4 in the morning. Whereas then in Nashville, it's a structured formulaic plan and you go in at
12 hours before that.
Yeah, you go in at 11 a.m. Yeah. You're done at 4 and you go in and you're like, cool, what are we going to write about today? And that was an interesting thing for me to get used to.
Yeah.
But I love it. It's awesome. I love both for many different reasons. The Nashville scene and just how this is obviously a massive city, especially now, but it's such a small city. Like you go, like I'm such a homebody. Like we're on the road so much that I love my couch, right? My dog, my wife, we just get to chill, play Madden, NHL, watch movies. And then things will pop up like, hey, we're going to go do this thing, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, man, I'm not. But then when I go, even like 30 minutes in a room, it's inspiring. Mm-hmm. Like the conversations you have with people, everybody's just so hungry at all times. And it's easy to think you're full when you're sitting at home. Then you get out there and you catch that bug, even like 20 minutes in a bar, seeing other songwriters and artists you haven't seen for a long time that are just having beers and whatnot. And, it's a really great decision. I always say, I miss California every day. I love California, but of all the places you would ever have to move for work, quote unquote, this is the freaking best.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, I love it here. All right, let's dive into some stories behind the songs. For everybody listening, we're not singing today.
Why
not? Tyler's got a what is it? With your rib, like a pulled rib or something?
Like a slipped rib.
Slipped rib, yeah. That's
slipped
what you said, yeah.
Joint neck thing, all sorts of things that are hurting.
So we're not gonna sing
sound
any,
like a dying dog.
We're gonna dive into some of the fan favorites. So let's start with Cowboy Tears.
Cowboy Tears. Yeah, so I just put Cowboy Tears out with a couple other songs as the 3 to finish the deluxe album. So much work, so much time. It almost, I think it was a year and 9 months doing this entire project.
Wow.
And that, like the first half of the double album came out in March, 10 songs. Second half came out in September, 10 songs. And so a couple weeks ago, we just released Poppy and Iris, which is both sides combined, so 20 songs. But then I was like, that's boring. Let's do more work.
Yeah.
And we had done a B-side that came out in May in between the two, which is Dogs Don't Die. So it technically was an older song, but 2 brand new ones. Cowboy Tears, Redwood. Cowboy Tears was a song I started writing at home like 1 a.m. one night. And so Cowboy Tears, my wife and I met at Stagecoach in 2016. I was not handing out
Were you giving her a card?
No, I was not handing out the cards. That would have been funny. I hit on her the old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
And, Stagecoach was in the desert. And so really windy that day, all sorts of dirt and dust in there. And I had a bandana just over my face. And when I met her, I took it down like a cowboy, right? Like, how you doing, lady? No. And that same bandana, because she's an actress. So still to this day, we've been together for 9.5 years.
Yeah.
And we still have an apartment in LA for her work. And we still spend half the month apart for the most part. And during that first couple years, still often, that bandana that I met her wearing, anytime I was gone away from her, whatever, I'd have it in my pocket on stage, have it at home, just always with me with her perfume on it. And then flash forward when we got married, that was inside my suit jacket or my pocket. And in our first look, there's a picture of me. She's like spinning her dress, and I'm crying and I'm wiping the tears with that bandana. Not planned. It just was there. Pulled it out, and I'm like this. And so then flash forward 2020, COVID, everybody's wearing masks and bandanas and stuff. And she's like, I'm going to start a bandana line. It's going to be called Cowboy Tears. Because that. And so she started that, which then turned into hats and all these things. So I was like, well, I feel like Cowboy Tears needs a theme song. And we are there's a lot of this vibe on the double album. There's a lot of songs about distance from family and sacrifices of chasing a dream, sacrifices of people that just work a lot. Truck drivers, military, police officers, people that are single moms working 2 jobs. Your everyday people that are just away from their kids, away from their family all the time, either for the greater good of the country or the greater good of their family, or even if they're single, chasing their own dream. Like me, I'm not single, but because of my dream, I'm away from my wife all the time. I'm away from my friends and family all the time. And it hits that a lot on the whole project. And then Cowboy Tears is specifically just about us. And it's about like, you can be together. It doesn't matter how long you are together. As long, like when you have a very strong connection with your partner, even when you're apart, you feel at peace. And it doesn't matter how much travel I'm having to do. It doesn't matter the really small shows we show up and we're like, oh man, this sucks. It doesn't matter anything that's going on in your world. Just keep chasing that person over and over and over again. And yeah, I was just feeling super emo one night at like 1 a.m. and wrote most of the first verse and chorus. And then I met up with Andrew Capra. I call him blind date rights. We don't know each other, and got in there. And blind date rights are easier when there's 3 people, I believe, and all 3 people don't know each other, kind of thing, because you're just kind of feeding and learning. And when it's 2 people, it's more, it's raw, it's more intimate, it's vulnerable in a way. And so I was like, hey, so I actually wrote like this verse and chorus, and then you just got to sing a song for a person you don't know, and you also don't know what kind of music they listen to or all these things. And but him and I bonded really quick because he's from San Francisco, he's a Giants fan, all this stuff, and so we were like already like boys right away. And so I played it for him, and he's like, I love this, man, this is great. He's like, let's roll with it. We made a lot of changes to the first verse and chorus, and that was just the starting draft, and we wrote the song really quick, and knew it was special. And anytime I'm writing a song that has a very vulnerable lyric and like a sweetness to it that's almost sad, I like to make them upbeat and tempo and fun, because I think that polarity is one of the things I love about music when I'm listening. And I love to just feel a driving force behind something that it was such like a powerful lyric. And so the song feels very like upbeat and fun and anthemic. But then if you actually sit there and you read the lyrics, it's like that's like a broken man and like in a broken situation that's like fighting to like feel everything again at once. And it's really cool because I teased it. Just we had done a private down in Cabo, and like beautiful resort. And the night before the actual event, we went to a dinner at the resort, and my wife and I literally sat outside in front of our hotel, set up a camera, and I was like, I'm gonna show you a new song. And usually she's so part of like, I write a song, I show her. She had not heard this yet, and especially with it being Cowboy Tears, I was like, no, I'm gonna wait for a moment. So I set up a little camera and I showed it to her, and it doesn't say Cowboy Tears, until the very end of the chorus, and when it does, she's like, no, you said Cowboy, like she like freaks out and stuff, and it was super, super sweet. But the fan, all our fans, hers and mine, just attached to it right away. And we played shows that weekend, and that was the weekend I slipped my back. We went to Vegas and Portland. People, VIP meet and greet, I do acoustic, and I'm like, when I do the couple acoustic songs for the VIP, especially with us releasing a double album, like 23 songs in 1 year. Cowboy Tears wasn't even out yet. I just teased it. So we had 20 songs in 1 year. I'm like, the set list is going to be very heavy on new songs. So here's a chance for you to hear songs that you're not going to hear tonight. And like both nights of VIP that night, the next weekend, all 3 shows VIP. We play Cowboy Tears. We play Cowboy Tears. I was like, I don't even know how to play Cowboy Tears yet. I was like, I haven't, since we wrote it.
Did you know when you came out of the room, did you feel like, okay, this is something special?
Yeah, you do. You always, well, as songwriters, there's a curse where we always feel like it's a hit, right? No matter what. This is a smash. This is a number one song.
You write better songs than I do, because I come out of plenty of rooms where I'm like, well, that's going in the case and never coming out again. But
yeah, there's a pride behind it, and there's just like this is going to take over the world. Then you listen to it a couple days later, and you're like, it's a good song.
Yeah.
This one was like, I always know, like better than you used to. Like when I wrote that song, like my label at the time didn't even really care for it very much, but it was a demo I couldn't stop listening to. Cowboy Tears was a demo I could not stop listening to.
Yeah.
And that is always like the test. If Sabina will ask me to hear it again, or send it to her, or she dances a little bit, even if it's a slow song, she does like this little body shake thing. That's like my green flag. If I want to keep listening to it in my car and whatnot, that's my green flag. But I also knew the story behind it, and knowing that it was called Cowboy Tears and the branding behind it and stuff too, that fans would like it even if it wasn't the best, probably. But so we played it for the first time, and we went to California. We're on the Leaving California tour right now, and that is what we called side B of the double album. And because there's a song called Leaving California at the end of it, and we've only done 1 week of California shows for the whole tour, and we did LA, Sacramento, and then Santa Cruz, basically. And in LA, did we play for? No, we played in Sacramento for the first time. And I don't ever do encores. I don't believe in them. I believe in real encores, where they came from, right? Like, band plays a set, artist plays a set, they walk off stage, the crowd needs more. They come out and they're like, all right, boys, what B-side are we going to play? What album cut are we going to do? The very cringy encore where you step away and everybody knows, okay, they're going to come out and play their hits if they didn't play.
Right.
It's just...
It's a set at that point. It's not an encore.
It's not for me. It's not for me. And so we don't do them. But literally, like, we play all the way till the end. And for this one, though, we were playing in Sacramento for this tour, and one of our biggest shows we've played in Sacramento. And I was like, we got to play Cowboy Tears tonight for the first time. It came out 2 days ago. Let's try it. And we weren't going to play California Grown, which is my first song that, like, blew up in California 12 years ago. For the first time ever, we weren't going to play it. And I was like, all right, we're going to do an encore tonight. And we're going to walk off stage. And when we come back out, we're going to just straight into Cowboy Tears. And then we're going to close with California Grown. And as soon as the boom started at the beginning of Cowboy Tears, the crowd went crazy. Song had been out for 2 days.
Gosh,
people
dude,
were
come on.
singing the chorus. People were singing the verse from the teaser I had put out. I mean, I got goosebumps.
Yeah,
right
I
now.
do too right now.
It was, I don't know, there's something special about coming out and doing an encore and it being a brand new song that just came out.
Yeah.
It's cool, but I didn't expect what happened.
2 days and they're singing along with it though.
It was epic.
Yeah.
And the chorus is just like big and people were just like dancing and jumping and singing and hands up, and it was so sick. It was so sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. It was like and when we walked off stage and we were in the back, we're like, thank God we decided to do that. That was the way to end the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I love that. I wish I could have been there. Let's talk about Redwood.
Redwood. All right. So obviously I grew up around redwood trees.
Yep.
Right? My tattoo right here is show the camera, and you can see too, I guess. But redwoods, all around Northern California, obviously. And where I grew up, California, we're plagued by wildfires, right? Natural disasters. And from earthquakes to droughts to wildfires taking out towns, like Paradise, 30 minutes north of me, is where Nate Smith grew up. The whole town was taken out by a fire like 7 years ago, I think. And but the crazy thing is I found out about, so this tattoo is basically just symbolizes this whole idea that there's trees everywhere, and then there's a redwood, and then there's a dead tree, and then there's a taller redwood. And the idea that it might take out your city, it might take out parts of it, it might burn down a bunch of houses and belongings and deaths and everything that's devastating, but in a sad but beautiful way, it makes the people of those places stronger. It builds more of a sense of community. People have to come together. People from other cities and communities come together to help.
Resilience.
And so that's what this is like an ode to the communities always being bigger and stronger, and the people fighting through whatever it is. And the thing about a redwood tree, which is crazy, you get some tree education today at the listening room. All right. The redwood is one of the only trees in the world, or is the only tree in the world that cannot burn down. If it's young enough, it can. If very rare instances, the roots grow sideways instead of up and down, and the bark, I don't know the technicalities, they have some sort of something in the bark naturally that is a fire deterrent in a way, and so that's why they're the oldest, biggest trees in the world. And so when they get hit by fire, it's kind of like when you burn like your farm to get ready for soil and stuff, right? So it grows stronger. They shed that layer of bark, and then they just rejuvenate bigger and stronger every time. And
I'm getting educated. I didn't know this.
Yeah. And so I was like, how do I write a song about that?
Yeah.
So, well, this tree is bigger than the others. And so I wrote Redwood kind of about what I was talking about, just like how it just makes, natural disasters are brutal and devastating, but they do make the people that get through them stronger. And it is a relationship song, but it is also just about the people around you. And it's just about being as strong and tall as a redwood tree. No matter if I'm trying to think of the lyrics of the chorus, it's like when we wrote this song though too, it was funny. So I wrote this with 3 of my buddies that you would never expect this song to come out of. There's a metal band called Under Oath, and the singer just screams, and the drummer sings with a very beautiful high voice, like these crazy melodies while he's doing these for the big choruses while he's drumming. And then a band called Wage War. It's a metal band. Guitar player Cody is a good buddy of mine, and he's also the high singer because the singer just screams. Mm-hmm. And then Matty Mullins, the singer of Memphis Mayfire and Amber Lynn, 2 big metal and then pop rock bands. He screams and sings. And so we'd all been talking about, let's get in and write a song. And these are like big bands, right? Like way bigger than me. And like, let's all get, we've all been boys forever. Let's write a song. And so we got in there, and I was like, and there's some heavy stuff on this deluxe album. There's like nothing like what they do, but there's some angst and some, heavy musical moments and stuff. And I was like, cool, this is going to be the heaviest song on the project. Let's go. I get there, and we write what I believe is the most country song on the entire 23 song album. And it was just so cool that that's what came out of us that day.
Yeah.
But the chorus, yeah, it's like, when the ground's shaking these fault lines, like when we're begging for rain, but praying for rain, the clouds won't cry, Tahoe's dry. When the coast, it's hard to just talk about the lyrics when you're not singing it. I'm messing these up, I think, but like they always say, there's gonna be a big earthquake and half California is gonna go into the ocean. And it's like when it's being swept away, like as long as we got each other, we'll always be. I'm brutally messing this up. We will always be standing tall and strong together, like a redwood tree.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's way cooler than what I just said. And you can sing
song.
Along to it, and it's got melody and,
yeah.
and rhymes, which I didn't have just now.
We'll play a little bit of it in the background.
Yeah, cool.
Man, how'd you decide on Poppy and Iris?
So December 30th last year is when I had decided that, because let me think. So November last year was when the first single came out for this whole project, which was All the Small Things. And I knew we were going to be dropping 1 song a month until March, and then the other 5 were going to come out, and it was going to be 10 songs called Hello California, because it opens with a song called Hello California. And I knew the back half was going to come out later. And art direction wise, I was sitting there, my wife and I were at my grandparents' house. We were staying the night, and we were going to the airport like super early in the morning. And we're sitting there on the couch watching football. I think 49ers were playing. And irrelevant point, I'm just getting back. I'm taking myself back there to get all these details. Game is on. We're sitting on the couch, just the 4 of us. And I'm telling them about this project and how it's going to come out in 2 parts. And then I'm going to release them together eventually. And I originally wanted to call it because Hello California and Tennessee. So it was going to be called, okay, so the hummingbird is the state bird of Tennessee. And then the grizzly bear is the state animal for California. And it was going to be some version of like grizzly bear and hummingbird type thing. And I was kind of set on it because it was weird. However I was wording it, it was very weird. Hummingbird or grizzly versus hummingbird or something. But then all of a sudden it hit me that like the Hardy album, like Mockingbird and the Crow or whatever that was. And I was like, the Mockingbird, maybe Mockingbird is a Tennessee one. There was a moment where I was like, it's too similar. What do I do? My grandparents were like, don't ask us. And I was like, so we sat there and we just started looking at like anything that the state has, like ChatGPT, like tell me everything that represents California, from like objects to flowers to rocks to trees to all these things, and Tennessee. And we ended up on the state flowers because poppy is the state flower of California. The bearded iris is the Tennessee state flower. And so I told my artist I was working with for this whole like 2-year campaign, I want a poppy of some sort on the Hello California side, and then an iris on the Leaving California side. And when they come together, I'm going to call it Poppy and Iris. And I want those two flowers to just create one piece of art together without me on it. And he absolutely crushed it. Like, I'm so bad when it comes to art and design and that part of this whole world. Like, my ideas usually are like crazy. And when I'm explaining my ideas to people, it's kind of like me trying to explain the Redwood lyrics. Nothing makes sense. And he literally, like, his first take, basically minor tweaks, but his first shot at it was all three covers that you see now.
Yeah.
And what's funny is my grandma, when Poppy and Iris came out, she's like, honey, it's so beautiful, and I love the art, and the new songs are so great, and tell me the story behind Poppy and Iris. I was like, well, Grandma, 11 months ago, you made it with me. Yeah. And she's like, oh my God, that's right. And I was like, you were part of the process of that.
It's very creative, man. I love the story behind that, and just really cool.
Yeah, I'm super proud of it. It's such a cool just body of work that's very well thought out, and something I've never, when I was on a label, I was never really able to have much creative control and stuff. And it's, my first album that came out in 2020 was only 2 new songs, and it was 10 or 11 total, only 2 new songs. Everything else had come out over 3.5 years. And so it's like hard to have a cohesive work of art that is like fully thought out when it's singles. Here's an album, enjoy. And so getting to do it this way, just from the ground up, from day one, day zero, and just being like, boom, let's go.
Yeah.
Awesome. Fulfilling, really.
Let's talk about that a little bit, because, I mean, how's it been, like, with the transition into just full independence?
So it is also super fulfilling. It's very rewarding. So much more work, so much more expensive, obviously. But you know that, you'll reap that later down the road. It's something I definitely had wanted, and I do still want and love. I'm not ruling out the idea of, kind of like when I went back to school and I was like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna get it, but then I'm gonna promise myself I'm gonna give music one more shot for me. This was the for me thing again, where I was like, I need to put out a bunch of songs, the stories I want to tell, the way I want them to sound. I need to show a different side of me of all these songs I've been writing the past couple of years that nobody's heard, because they just, they hear country radio appropriate love songs about my wife. And I was like, I've been writing so many songs that are just so much deeper and real and raw. And I feel like there's such a connection with my fans that I have a great one, but there was something that we hadn't hit yet. And I was like, we need to make this bond bigger and stronger. And since these songs have come out, fans will be crying in the crowd. It'll make me cry on stage. There's just such a stronger emotional connection now, which is what I really, really wanted, because everybody falls in love. Everybody loves their partners. But we all live, 90% of other emotions all around us at all times. Yeah. And I finally get to sing about things that are hard, not just things that are good. And that's the best part of this whole thing. But I did tell myself that I'm doing this for me, but then I'm not shy to the idea of going back to a label for the third album, because I do feel very fulfilled now, but I do miss massive promotion a lot. Yeah. It's hard when you're out there. It's like...
It is. I mean, I've talked about this a lot. I mean, it's tough with, there's just, with all the DSPs out there now too, there's just so much noise. I mean, every Friday, it's just like, I have to sift through just to find the releases that I want to hear, and it's like, there's so much that, labels are great. They can bring a lot of things to the table, obviously. But what would you say, if for people listening that are breaking in, they don't have a deal, what did you do to kind of build your team around doing it independently, with agent, management, publishing, all of those kind of pieces?
I'll get to that part second, but I'll answer the first thing you said first, which was, my first advice would be, if you go back to me doing like the guerrilla marketing, like all that stuff with like the promo cards and all that, and what I had built that got me my deal, you have to build something like that to be a successful independent artist. What I did 12 years ago, if I did that 2 years ago, I would have never signed a record deal. I would have just kept going.
Yeah.
If you have a strong independent thing going for you, labels are going to want to sign you. And in this day and age, you have a very strong chance of crushing it independently. If you are just an independent artist that's trying to break through, that's trying to make noise and all that stuff, sign it. Like I would say, sign a record deal if they want you, which also, I don't know if they'd want you if you don't have a bunch of stuff going on.
Yeah,
right?
that's the flip side. Like, well, I manage a couple people. It's like, you got to have this many followers on Spotify and TikTok and, before they'll even talk to you. And at that point, you're right. It's like, well, now why do we need you other than the mass promotion? So
especially if it's like a constant thing that's been building. But as far as like when I left my label, about I guess like it was September 2023. It was when we officially were like, all right, cool, we're gonna get out. It's gonna be a clean break, but it wasn't gonna be official till January, like on paper. My manager that I'd had for 8 years, who was that first email I got saying like, hey, you should come out to Nashville. I made the very hard decision to part ways with him. I love him. He was great. I just felt like, we had hit our ceiling of what we could do together. Mm-hmm. And it was all of a sudden I was, a clean slate of like whatever teams I'm going to sign with and stuff. It's going to be fresh ears, fresh eyes, fresh ideas, different relationships and connections, different everything. And so that's why I decided to part ways there to just build an entire new team. And so I did not want to find a new manager or anything until because we started working on this project that December 23. It was the first day in the studio, which is crazy. It's 24 months later. And this came out like 2 weeks ago. I did not want to find a new manager based off of what I had been putting out for years with my label. I wanted to find a new manager based off the new music I wanted to be doing, that understood that assignment and where to take it. And so, over the spring, I had like 4 or 5 songs. It started going to, different management companies and stuff. And there was a very outside the box manager that works for a giant company. They manage One Republic and Usher and Pharrell and Backstreet Boys and Sum 41 and I think Gracie Abram, like big artists that aren't country. Mm-hmm. And the main guy's right-hand man had moved out here for his family, for kids for school and stuff. And they had decided, let's just do one country artist, just one. You're out there, let's do one, add it to the roster, and let's go. And so I got connected to him through some, different acquaintances and friends and whatnot. And after, some meetings and some chats and stuff, I was like, do I want to be one of 5 to 8 me's at a big company in town? Or do I want to be the literal only me at a massive company everywhere else? And so I decided, we're shaking everything up right now. Why not? Let's do that. And so so Lafitte Management is what that's called, and my new manager, Chris Neri. And then we just started building from there. I'm still not published. I'm about to start taking publishing meetings because now I've got 23 songs out that are mine, and I own all the publishing and masters and all that stuff, and start taking some publishing meetings and whatnot. Because I do have all my publishing connections still. Obviously, I've been here for 10 and a half years. I have all my writers I love to work with. I know their publishers personally. I just, I could set my own calendar and do my own thing, but I do miss having that like little mini family of writers and stuff. Yeah. I miss that a lot. And as this is now out, and I've started writing for whatever's going to be next, which I hope is not for a long time, because 23 songs in 12 months releasing was pretty crazy. But we're going to work on the publishing thing now. And then I just switched agencies to a new agency that just moved to town, which was kind of like my management thing, where they're a big company in all other genres, offices all over the world, but they've been doing country for a couple of years now, getting agents, from WME and CAA and UTA, and building their roster of agents here, but they never had a reason to have like an actual office. And so they just, like 5 months ago, opened an office here. They call it DTI, Dynamic Talent International.
Yeah.
And the president, like the owner of the company, is a buddy of mine from Sacramento.
Okay.
He's just never worked in country, so we've never literally talked business at all. I went to his office warming party, basically, and that was the day that we had been kind of chatting about maybe switching agencies and stuff, and went in there, and he's like, for real? And so, yeah. So we're in this whole, mode of just new people, new faces, new ideas, fresh energy across the board, and just wash, rinse, survive, repeat, as what I say.
That's awesome, man. How long have they been in town?
Probably, I guess, like 7 months now.
Okay.
But they've been working country artists for a year or two now. Yeah. But they finally have an office here. Everybody was just working at home.
Yeah, that's great, man. I want to dive into one more song. Man, I'm a dog lover. And some of the most emotional hard times that I've gone through is I had a chocolate lab for 13 years, and that was, my best friend. It was through college and everything. Your song Dogs Don't Die.
Yeah. So Dogs Don't Die is about Abby. I had Abby for 17 years and 8 months, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And people will say, which I understand both sides of these opinions because I agree with both. People say, you're so lucky you had her for that long. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, this is great. It makes it harder because this is crazy. Dogs don't die. She passed like 2 years ago. I'm a Pisces. This always happens. I had her my entire adult life, 19 to 37. And so it's like, she was getting old. And we were, I guess, like fall of 22. I was on tour. We were up in Michigan. And we had riders out on the bus. It was Blake Bollinger and Stephen Lee Olson, Canadian artists. And we wrote Give Up to Get It, which is on side A, song like 4, I believe, which is that song I was talking about earlier, about all the sacrifices being away from your family. Yeah. We're in Flint, Michigan, right? There's nothing really to do there, and it's just cold, snowy. And so we wrote Give Up to Get It, which is, an in your feels song. And Abby was with us on the road, and she's old, she's like she was a husky and kind of hobbling around and whatnot. And so I was like, I just know that like once she goes, it's going to take me forever to write a song about her. And it's going to be so sad. I was like, I want to write a song that is happy and like uplifting and about the spirit of the dog and like what she will like leave with us. And so we wrote a very happy, feel-good dog song called Dogs Don't Die. And it is, it's just all about the things you still hear and you smell and the things that are always still there. And my favorite line in the song, which is really funny, because my drummer and my bass player are cat dads, right? Like, and I love cats too. I just don't have any right now, but I grew up with cats, and they only have cats, and they're obsessed with cats. And they love dogs. They love my dog the most. My new one, Yukon. He's the best. But this part of the song in the bridge, it says Jesus and K9s both have that divine. Both. I'm really struggling with the lyrics today. Jesus and K9s both give that divine, unconditional love. That's why cats get 9, or cats get. I need to look up the words to my song. That's why, what is it? My God. I haven't sang this song in a long time because I cry on stage when I sing it. Anyways, it says, it doesn't matter. it throws shade to cats for a second as
Yeah.
a joke. And the crowd loves it. They go crazy. It's like, but dogs don't die. What are the words? It's hard when you're talking, as I've said 15 times already.
It's hard for me when I'm singing. I still am the guy that's got to put the lyrics to the songs I've written in front of me while I'm singing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, I got it. Jesus and canines both give that divine, unconditional love. That's why we only get one and cats get 9. But dogs don't die, they live on. Thank God I got that. Man, I think I would never sang or written a song before.
It's also early.
Yeah, it is. It's way earlier than wherever you are watching
blame it on
this.
that, yes. Yeah.
Hear me watching this 7 p.m. or something on the internet. It's like really early.
Yeah.
But yeah, then Dogs Don't Die, like it's, I'm really glad I wrote that song when I did too, because she passed like 6-7 months later and it was like brutal, but I instantly started playing it live, and which was impossible to get through. But that goes back to what I was saying too, just like that emotional bond with fans.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many people. I'm talking like the redneckest of the necks after shows coming up, like, brother, that damn dog song, that killed me. But you being up there crying, man, that was real shit, brother. I respect the hell out of you. You know, it's just like the toughest of guys just can relate and understand that, you know. He's like, that made me think of my Bobby back in the day, you know. But then that led to, you know, over Christmas last year, I have crazy artistical ADD. And as I said earlier, also, that does not have anything to do with art or design, because I can't do that. But I have all these ideas in my head, and I only do music. And so I remember listening to Dogs Don't Die, and I was like, cool, this is coming out in May. Man, I wish we had lost so many dogs when I was a kid. It felt like a lot. And I was like, God, all the dog songs are always sad. I wish I had this song when I was a kid. And somehow this idea popped in my head of like, oh, well, kids would get the song, but they could have a book too. So I was like, what if I wrote a kid's book? And so I did, just for fun, wrote this whole book called Dogs Don't Die. And at the end, I put like a dedication page where the kid can, it's like, write the name of your dog here, draw a picture of your dog here. What do you still see? What do you still smell? What do you still hear? And it's just like a little memento they can rip out, their parents can keep, they can have. And once I finished that book, I was like, I'm not an author. I can't release a book. What am I doing? So then I was like, maybe if I write another one and I like it, I'll release these books. And so, yeah, that's what led
You do a side A, then you got to do side B. You do book 1, you got to do...
100%. And then you got a deluxe book.
Yeah.
Write the full thing. It's actually funny. People in interviews, like especially with like the CMAs just happened, and we're doing like the carpet press interviews and stuff before the awards, and like, oh my God, so I was just reading, you're an author now. And I was like, thank you. That is a stretch. I was like, these are 32 pages with mostly coloring.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, it's been fun. It's
yeah.
cool.
So you've got in this series, I guess, Dogs Don't Die, and then Leave the Wolf Wild.
Yeah. So my song Leave Her Wild is all about, I wrote about my wife. When I met her in the pit at Stagecoach, and she was just energy. She was infectious. She was like, everybody was watching her, wanted to be friends with her, wanted to dance with her. And I found out real quick, early, months of dating, that that's just who she is. She's high energy. She loves dancing and singing and making everybody do shots in the room. And she's just a fun, good time. And when you're dating somebody, it could be a very intimidating thing to date somebody like that. And it's a very normal thing, but people will kind of start to stifle their partner naturally or unnaturally, and try to take that comment down because they don't want somebody else to see that and lose them. And so, like, leading up to us getting married, I wrote Leave Her Wild as basically like a vow to always just leave her the way I found her. Never try to like dampen that light. Never try to take away that shine, because it's intimidating to me. And that song, is our biggest song. It went crazy. But the book, I was like, how do you tell that story for a kid? And a lot of our stuff is, our logo is a wolf that represents Abby, my dog, but it is a wolf, not a husky. And I was like, leave the wolf wild. Let's do that. And so it follows a little family of wolves in the Redwood forest. Write about what I know. And the dad is finally teaching the pups how to hunt, and the boys are like jumping on beetles, and the little girl, her name is Poppy, and she just decides to like wander off and dance in the wildflowers, the poppies, and chase butterflies and sing and dance. And the brothers are like, why is she so weird? Why doesn't she want to be a regular wolf? And the dad teaches the life lesson to the boys of like, if you ever want to be the alpha of a pack one day, you need to follow your heart as a child. You need to chase whatever it is in here, or other wolves will have nothing to chase. You will be like every other wolf, just hunting in a pack. Be yourself. You'll become an alpha. You'll become the most beautiful version of yourself, and something that other wolves will want to follow. And they're like, huh, and they look out. And all the other little wolves from the other packs start running out to play with her in the field. And they're like, maybe she's not breaking the rules. Maybe her weird is her own kind of cool. I can remember the words of the book, apparently, even though I think that's a little off. And then, so she ends up becoming like the alpha of the pups, just for being herself.
Yeah.
And chasing, like following her heart to go chase butterflies instead of pounce and eat beetles. Yeah.
Man, you got a third one coming out?
It's done.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. It was supposed to come out before Halloween. But then this might actually be my favorite one. We had some like snags on the art and like some different directions and some tweaks that
you tried to do it yourself, didn't you?
No. I did try to do Dogs Don't Die myself.
Did you?
Using AI is a great tool for many things, right? But I wasn't about to drop a few K like on an artist for a hobby of a book that I didn't know if I even wanted to release, right? So I was like, maybe I can use AI and learn how to do this. And after like 16 hours of trying to make the art look the same with the characters on both pages, like absolutely not. And so I found this amazing artist. He's done all three. And this third one, since it didn't come out before Halloween, I'm going to wait till after the holidays, because it's about not being afraid of the monster under the bed. It's called Fred Under the Bed. And this kid basically is being haunted. And there's stuff flying around his room. His clothes are like spinning in circles. And eventually the ghost shows himself. And he's like, oh, you haven't been able to see me this whole time? He's like, I thought we've been playing. And he's just a little kid named Fred. And he's like, oh, the clothes, dancing through the room. He's like, no, that was just me dancing. He's like, you just couldn't see me, kind of thing. And so they become buddies, and he teaches them about the days before YouTube where they used to just run outside and play and stuff. And then once Fred's job is done and the kid's not scared anymore and able to sleep in his own room and not with his parents, Fred leaves for good. And so it ends with Fred, or with the main kid, who doesn't even have a name because it's all about the ghost, but looking under his bed, and like Fred's not there anymore. And he says, I haven't seen Fred since the last time he left. So if you hear something under your bed, please don't fret. It's not a monster, blah, blah, blah. It's just, it might just be your new friend, Fred, who's now going to teach another kid how to not be afraid.
Dude, I can't wait for that. As you're telling that story, man, I'm just like, this is what I'm going through with my son right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. Like I can't wait.
He?
He will be 8 in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Cool.
So, but he's
awesome.
going, he's gone through this stage, man. And he's so, man, the things that he says, like just like a week ago, I'm putting him to bed and he looks at me. He's like, Daddy, who's your imaginary friend?
Creepy.
And I was like, yeah. And I was like, what, buddy? I don't have an imaginary friend. And he looks at me and goes, exactly. You forgot him already. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And he's like,
goosebumps.
He's like, Dad, I just want to make the world a better place. And like, I see how hard you work and how mom works. And like, everybody just works all the time. And like, I think that maybe when people turn like 16 or something and they start driving, they just forget their imaginary friend, and then they just don't have someone to talk to. And like, I have mine, and I just wish that you had yours again. I was like, I walked out of the room, was like, what just happened?
Your ears to the door at all times.
Yeah. But he's like, he's going through the stage of like, he has this imaginary friend that I just found out about, because he gets scared about certain things. And he's told me, he's like, I have 2 girls and a boy. And, he's like, I'm not supposed to be scared because I'm the man, you know, and like, we're not supposed to be scared. And I'm like, buddy, you can be scared, you know, like, and so anyway, I can't wait, man. That's going to be a great book.
I'm excited. And with missing that deadline of before Halloween, I was like, I don't know. I'm like released over the holidays. And see, I grew up, my grandparents, I used to stay with them every other weekend, and they love like scary movies and stuff. And so when I was younger, they would show me like the easy one, like the classics, like Pet Sematary or like Christine, Silver Bullet, like Stephen King kind of stuff. That's like easily digestible. And so that's what like spawned. Like I'm obsessed with horror movies, and like that tension and like that uncomfortable feeling. Like if I'm watching other movies, if I don't feel that, I'm like, what else is next, kind of thing. And so in the little like dedication thing, I explained that in the book, and then it's like, this is for the kids that didn't grow up watching any ghost stories, that are terrified. Because me, I was like, I hear stuff, I was like, cool, what's that?
Yeah.
Not really, no, it obviously still scared me, but my buddy was like, I think you can release it over the holidays. He's like, Christmas, obviously. He's like, also, do you watch scary movies and stuff all year round? Do you like maybe buy like a mug that's something like horror movie related or year round? And I was like, yeah, man, I guess sure. And he's like, there's a niche for people that are gonna love this book any day of the year.
Yeah,
just put it up.
For sure.
Yeah, it's done. I just have to order the proofs, prove them, and then it'll be up a couple days later.
I love it, man.
Maybe I'll do it before Christmas. Maybe it's like a cool like way to promote it as like a polarity. Like, I know you're all cozying up. They're gonna be out of school and they're gonna be afraid of the monster under the bed.
There you go. Yeah.
There's always a twist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what else is next, man? What's the tour look like next year?
So we're doing a co-headline tour. When does this come out?
This will be out in a couple weeks from now. So yeah, before Christmas.
Okay, cool. I think December 15th is when we're announcing this.
Okay.
I'm doing a co-headline tour with.
I'll wait and make sure that this doesn't come out until
after that.
5th.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
We're doing December 11th in Sarasota, Florida is the last day of this year and of this tour. And then next year we're doing a co-headliner with a guy named Danny Warsnop. So kind of like think about my Redwood story, all those metal guys and stuff. So he's from the UK. He's lived in the States for I think like 15 years. He's the singer of a really big metal band, and that band's been kind of done. They've done some reunion stuff, some tours and stuff off and on. But a few years ago, like, because his voice is crazy, and he was always just like the singer, right? And so crazy voice. He started putting out his own music a couple years ago as a solo artist, and it's if I could explain it, it's very like Teddy Swims country-ish.
Okay.
Teddy Swims meets like Chris Stapleton is what his voice sounds like to me.
That's sweet.
It's like really, really, really good. And because of like the rock elements on Poppy and Iris, which when people hear it live, the people that are like coming to shows for the first time, or maybe like a girl really wants to come because she loves Leave Her Wild and Better Than You Used To, and the guy's like, all right, cool, yeah, I'll go. And then we play a couple songs that are like pretty heavy and angsty, and we were like, how do we get those people ahead of time? How do we get more of those people in the room? And so we're like, what if we did a co-headliner with like a rock band, or like a not super heavy rock band, but. And so the idea popped up of co-headliner with Danny.
Dude, you're doing everything out of the box. I love it.
Yeah, as much as I can. Yeah, just trying to hit different fans in different markets. Yeah. He wants to get to play for all of our fans, and we want to get to play for all of his, because he'll have all his new fans for his music that he's putting out and about to put out an album, but also like the fans from his band come to just watch him in general also. And so it's we think that'd be cool. So we're doing that. I think it starts. I'm going to Europe. We're doing like C2C in Germany, and gonna build some dates around that, which I think we might actually be doing with him. And then, which I hope we do those with him, because then we can call it a world tour. Right. But then, like end of March, mid-March, something like that, until May is our tour in the States with him. Awesome. And then watch, rinse, survive, repeat.
Yep, that's right.
Surviving the dream, baby.
That's right. Well, man, we'll keep promoting and watching, and man, I just appreciate the time coming in. Yeah,
appreciate you
telling some of the story.
It's good chat.
Yeah,
I'll get you. I'll when I order that book, if the proof is good, I'll just hit you up, come drop this off or something.
Sweet.
For you.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, man. Appreciate it. Always end on this question. You can go back to 8-year-old Tyler. Growing up in California, what advice would you go back and give 8-year-old you today?
I would say you're 8. You're about to start playing piano in a year. Don't stop. It is cool. You're going to hear no a million times every path you take. Just keep waiting for the right yes. Life's going to be crazy, but it all works out.
Great advice.
I still try to tell myself that every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think 8-year-old me would be like, what?
Yeah. Thanks again,
Cool.
brother.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. See y'all.
And thank you, everybody out there, for listening. This has been another episode of Stories Behind the Songs. I'm Chris Blair. You've been listening to Tyler Rich. Go check out the liner notes. We will put links to his music, his books, and everything in between. So go see him on tour and buy his music. We'll see you next time. This has been an episode of Stories Behind the Songs with Chris Blair. For more information after the show, head over to chrisblair.com. That's where you can find information on these episodes, trailer notes, video links, all kinds of great stuff. Also, make sure to leave us a great rating on iTunes, like and follow us on Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts. Leave us a comment, let us know what you think. I really hope that you think this show is awesome, and we really appreciate the love and support. I promise to keep gathering great content and continuing to sit down with more amazing songwriters and artists as we grow. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for the support. We'll see you next time.